Hello, I am gailtcterry. Welcome to Craft Sew. Today's tutorial is making a beautiful lingerie or fine garment travel bag. You're making this for yourself or you can use this as a holiday gift item. Let's get started. We have two pillowcases. I got them from the thrift store, or you can get them from a secondhand store. The pink one was white and I dyed it fuchsia. The orange was already orange. I washed and pressed them. You can also find satin pillowcases at your Dollar Tree, so you may want to check there. At the end, you will see visuals of different bags that I made. For the pink bag, I actually got a textured finish by leaving it in the dye and not fussing with it a lot. It was folded and I didn't move it around a lot, so it got this nice finish. The orange bag is a standard size pillowcase, and the pink bag, I was fortunate, is a king size. So that just gives us extra fabric. You want to look at the bags first and just kind of get an idea of what size you want to make your garment bags. I also have other fabrics that I use for decoration and pockets. The green fabric is a batik. So I played around with different designs and decorations on the bag. I actually created a heart template from paper. I folded it. You may see the fold line. Cut out the heart, and that will be used as a pocket. I also have these other hearts that I cut out. And the square batik, or almost square, I'll use as a pocket as well. I have this great fabric, and it has heart designs. And I did what we call fussy cut some of the hearts to decorate the pocket that will go in one of the bags. I think this will come out pretty good. I'm still deciding whether I'll use the fourth heart. For the letters, I actually just enlarged a font in Microsoft Word and decided to cut out the letters. Other supplies you'll need are different types of fabric shears. I have pinking shears. It helps to keep the fabric from unraveling. Or standard fabric shears, a small and a large pair. The small fabric shears are really good for cutting out letters. I also use my rotary cutter. You will need a ruler or some type of tape measure. I have a dressmaker's tape measure here. It's flexible. And I also use the ruler and my cutting board. Here I am, kind of fussing with the letters a little bit. You will see my other fabric that I'm using. Again, I'm using a fabric with a design, and I can fussy cut some of the designs in this to create a different design look or different decoration on the lingerie bags or pillowcases. Just make sure you iron all of your fabric that you're using before you cut it and lay it out. I am also using a white marking pencil. You want to have some type of marking pencil when you sew. It's helpful. This is a chalk pencil. You can find a variety of different types. You want to have straight pens as well. This is a nice fabric container that I got from the Dollar Tree. It is perfect for packing and storing lingerie type items or specialty items, and it's the perfect size for this bag. It's about 11.5 by 8.5 inches. Now I'm spreading out the pillowcase to decide what size I will need to cut for this bag. I want to take into consideration the size of the pillowcase, the size of the garment bag I want to create, and the edge that I want to sew down. We will also be using ribbon to work through the bag and cinch the bag. So I want to leave enough space that when I put the ribbon in, it leaves for a bit of a ruffle at the top. So in keeping this in mind, you want to determine where you want to cut your fabric. You see I'm folding down the corners. Straightening my fabric, you want to make sure your fabric is very straight. You want to line up your ruler. And then I have my rotary cutter here. I find it easier in situations like this to use my rotary cutter, but you can use shears. Now I'm taking 1/2 of the bag and I am determining you're going to sew the bottom edge at a 5/8 seam allowance, and then for the top you see me folding down about 2 inches. I'm trying to play around with the design I'm going to put on this lingerie bag and determine if my fold is going to get in the way of the design or if I need to adjust that. So I fold it and play around with it first before I sew. And my family member who sees this, whose initials I'm placing on this bag, expect it for Christmas. And like I said, this was a king size pillowcase, so I got really nice size pieces out of it. So you want to consider that when you're looking for pillowcases to use. And I'm just playing around with design here before I go to the sewing machine. And I have moved this heart around several times. And I think I will put these letters to the side. Now I'm measuring my hem. I want to determine and make sure it's long enough to not only sew down, but to leave an edge so that when I work through the ribbon as a drawstring, that there's a bit of a ruffle at the top. So I actually turned it down about 2.5 inches. Now I'm sewing down that 1/4 edge that I said turn under and press. And here I'm actually sewing the bottom of the bag, and you will see me, you want to make sure you cut your corners. Now you want to turn the bag right side out and make sure your corners are poked out. Some people use a tool for this. I'm just using my fingers. Now, from the top of the bag, I am sewing a second seam, about 1 to 1.5 inch down top, and that will allow for the ruffle at the top of the bag. Now you want to clip any threads that you see on the bag. Again, I'm doing my layout and getting ready to glue this pocket down. Remember, I said we're also using fabric glue. If you want more details, I have a link to my blog below, and I have further details on making these lingerie bags on my blog, so make sure you visit there too. I'm just measuring out, making sure the pocket is centered. Making sure everything is in place before I glue it. And now you see me gathering my glue. I found these are paint holders that I use for different projects. So I'm just putting the glue in one of the paint circles, and I'm using actually a paintbrush to put it on. You want to keep your fabric safe, so I'm using an old folder right beside it and have a damp cloth nearby. Now I'm pressing down where I've glued. And in a minute, you're going to see some of the finished product. Here, I actually made one bag in red and white. Yeah, that G's for me. That's my bag. I also used a king-size pillowcase for this bag as well, so you'll see the second half of it shortly. Here's the second half of that red and white bag. Decided to put an angel on this. And I think you'll see in one of my other videos, I quilt a little bit. So a lot of designs I also use in quilting. And if you look at I guess the head of the angel, I fussy cut that same fabric that I used before. Here I actually made garment travel bags for my husband. You see his initials on there. And I made this from the black satin bag I told you I got from the dollar store. I used some of his old shirts for pockets, so it came out really good. Here is that orange pillowcase, and I actually used the top of the orange pillowcase to create the bottom of the top bag. I think this orange came out really nice. Here you'll see the final product of what we did today. Here are my pink bags. You see the square pocket with the hearts. And you see the ruffled top. That's what I was talking about. You want to have it so that when you put your ribbon through, it kind of ruffles at the top. And that's why you stitch down. So your ribbon you insert that in between the two seams. Here's the second pink bag. Again, you see how I ended up placing it? Like I said, I put those letters to the side, put the pink heart at the bottom. I think this turned out great. I love these bags. So family, you know what you're getting for the holidays. So thank you so much for going through this tutorial with me. If you want to learn more, you can visit my blog. The link is below. Thank you and bye for now.